Check it out. Taking a small break from the Porsche stuff, and we got ourselves in a little bit of trouble with the latest daily driver. So this is the 2006 Honda Ridgeline RTS, and it's got some transmission issues. So J35 runs like a top. Might need to do some timing and valve lash stuff later on down the road, but this MJFA 5-speed has been giving me nothing but issues. So basically, when I got it, it had a cooler line leak. So you'll be able to see here where I cut the shield, and I don't know if you'll be able to see right here. This guy right there. So that hard line where the rubber hose connects to, the bracket that's no longer attached to anything, that guy had sprung a leak, a little nasty leaky leak. You see all that bubble booger welds that I put on there. I mean, it does still leak a little bit, and I do have a replacement line for it, but I think I'm just gonna put some AN fittings on it and do a different cooler. Anyways, I was taking it home about a month and a half ago. I was bringing this thing home, had it all packed up, full of stuff, and I was on the interstate and it just started doing sort of deal, and it was revving the heck out of itself. So I managed to get off the interstate, and I get to an intersection, and I had it in drive. It was sitting there, it was making some really bad whiny noises and green light, and it just wouldn't move. Of course, I didn't think to shut it off, right? Because I was able to get it in here after a couple fluid changes, and after you like let it sit for a little bit, I guess like all the fluid like sunk down to the bottom, and then the torque converter was able to like bring it back up. And anyways, eventually when I was able to get some time to it, I replaced 3 solenoids. One comes as like a 2-pack, the other comes as a single, and they're both either like 3 to 4 or torque converter lockup solenoids. So I replaced those, and I put new fluid in it, and I was able to get it to shift from park to reverse to drive, and I was able to get it to move back and forth in the backyard here. So I figured, all right, this thing has definitely got some issues. So I did some research, looked around, figured out, you know, I learned a lot about automatic transmissions and, you know, how they work and stuff. So basically what I think has happened, probably trying to get it home, wore a lot of the clutches down, and they're probably all burnt to heck, and there's probably a lot of clutch material in both the primary and secondary valve bodies and some of the passages that go from the solenoids and all that. So the thing needs a rebuild, and it needs to be clean. I've got a workspace here that I'm gonna clean up, and I've got a little workspace here, got my press. I'm gonna help get these clutch backs apart, and yeah, we're gonna send it, boys. I mean, worst case scenario, I'm out a couple $100 and I just have to buy a remanufactured transmission and go from there. You know, I really don't see this as a waste of time trying to take it apart. You guys know me, I'm a pretty big take apart, put back together guy. I mean, Exhibit A is right out there. So, you know, we're gonna take it step by step, see what we can do. And, you know, some of you guys, I don't know, some of you guys on these ridge lines, but let me tell you what, it is, all right, it is a front wheel drive. I call it a van truck. It's, you know, my old play on words. I mean, it gets 22 miles a gallon. It's got a bed. The bed's awesome. It's got the, you know, lift-in thing, trunk, the in-bed trunk thing. It's pretty sweet. And the tailgate does open up both ways, and that's kind of cool. But when the VTM4 rear axle kicks in, and it, you know, you kind of, you know, give it a little bit of gas. I mean, the all-wheel drive is pretty phenomenal in the snow, and I haven't driven anything like it. And it's pretty. The functionality is pretty great for what I do. And I don't know. I'm not going to say it's better than the 4Runner. You know, each vehicle has its pros and cons, but I think it's going to be a pretty viable solution for my daily driver situation. So, yeah, we'll get the time lapse going here. I got to figure this out, see how they want the engine supported in these. I may have to get a different support, but you know, take it step by step. God, I'm an absolute mess. Okay, so we got to a bit of a stopping point here. So got all the stuff undone in here, got all the harness goodies unhooked, unbolted, all that. Got this guy hanging out. All the suspension is out. Now we're literally just at the point where I'm about to take the transfer case assembly off, and I've got all the bolts off. but it's just kind of stuck on there. She's a little attached, and they're sentimental of each other. So we'll get that off at some point. Oh, the exhaust is off, by the way, if you didn't see that hanging out down there. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do about it, but we're getting pretty close. So I think next steps, I did drain the cooler and got that front bolt off down there on that front mount. So next is probably just taking all the other mount bolts out and then drop the subframe, and then I guess you gotta, like, according to this thing, you gotta come in from like this side and then take the torque converter plate off and then undo all the bolts and then undo all the bolts on the engine trans side. So it's gonna be a process. Ridgeline project's going all right. I know I got quite the stash going on right now, but yep, big fat mess. All right, where are we at? Transfer case. Can we focus? Can we go like touchscreen? There we go. T-case is out. There's the knuckles. All the suspension junk's over there with the mid-pipe. And what I wasn't aware of is when you take the T-case off these, they immediately start to leak transmission fluid, so that was a little bit of a surprise. Nothing we couldn't take care of. Let's get some light on the situation. So that's where I was dealing with some issues. I'm guessing the aluminum to aluminum just kind of made it sticky, and the spine's probably just really tight. So no big deal. Just, you know, took about all morning to get one little piece off, but we're back at it. We're gonna get the intermediary shaft out and the other axle and all the other junk that mates in between there, and keep going. We had a bolt snap on this side, and we had a bolt snap on the other side, and we had a bolt snap right in the middle where the trans mounts to the subframe, but we are very, very close. We just have this one more mount. I think it's like in there somewhere. Basically, that guy right down in there. Need to get him unbolted. Hopefully today we'll get the subframe dropped and look at trying to get the transmission pulled. See what we can't get done. Alright, got the subframe and the steering rack out, and we are doing pretty good up here. The sport bar is hanging in there, but we're going to try to get that transmission off as soon as possible because we do have her supported a little bit in the bottom. Everything's out of the way, everything's unplugged, so I think really all that's left is to rip this thing out. So we are going to go inside, get the service manual, and work on getting that transmission disconnected. I'll probably bring the hoist over and hook up, probably right here. Hook up there, make sure all this crap's out of the way, and man, it's really coming out, I guess. Not too much longer now until we figure out what the frig's going on in here. First AT rebuild on its way. guy in here. This out. Good idea. This guy's gonna be able to move. Don't get this guy. This is an MJFA transmission code, and my battery is going to die very soon. That's okay, because we'll charge up the battery and then we'll get this thing taken apart. Alright, we are back at it with the Ridgeline transmission. I'm gonna make this quick because my battery's about to die. But so far so good. We've got not transfer case. This is the friggin' torque converter case. This guy. Got this guy just about ready to be started to be put back together. So the main valve body, I had to sand a bunch of these bores smooth because they were sticking a lot, and then I put some new CPC valves in here and in the new secondary. I was actually able to find this secondary on eBay for like $100. Normally they're like 300. But basically what happened was the original secondary, these valves in here got really stuck. And no matter what I did to try to get them out, they just did not want to come free. So this guy and freaking that guy, the plugs are just all jammed up in there. So I said, screw it. I'm not even gonna bother. I'm not gonna with it. Just I found a new one, so I bought one, and it's on there. So what I didn't realize also is that the rebuild kit came with an extra filter. So I've got freaking like an extra filter. No idea what I'm gonna do with it, but we replaced that bearing down there. We replaced this bearing. That was really crunchy. I don't remember if I did that one. I don't think I did that one. Couldn't get that thing out because I don't have shop air, so I couldn't push it out. That one was fine. This one are kind of crunchy, but they're going to be all right. They're just for like the shift lever and stuff. But new seal. I think I got new seals on this as well. There wasn't much going on in the actual torque converter calf, so I didn't have to do much there, but I think I also replaced that seal under there, and yeah, everything looks like it's turning and going smooth. So I also replaced that bearing in there. That one was kind of crunchy as well, but yep, she's getting close, getting closer every day. But I got the main shafts, secondary, intermediary, and third shaft right here. So it took me quite the goose chase to find the right clutches and steels, because friggin' Vermont Transmission decided, or whoever put this rebuild kit together, they sent me the wrong freaking steels. These things, there's no way that that was gonna fit in that drum. right? Because the teeth are just wrong. So I sent them pictures, sent them dimensions, and they're like, oh yeah, we'll send you the right stuff. And freaking next thing I know, they sent me, again, freaking wrong clutches. So I had to go through that rigmarole. But I've got the new clutches and new steels soaking for now, for when I get this, which is a Belleville disc spring. And you can see mine is very chewed up. It got all sorts of frigged up. Probably when it ran low on fluid, and then that piece of geometry right there probably just decided to chew that ring up when the space between the clutches and steels just decided to, you know, leave the chat. So that's supposed to sit there like that. And basically what happens is when the clutches and steels press up against each other and decompress from the fluid pressurizing behind this piston here, this spring actually compresses and decompresses to help smooth out your shifts. So could have omitted it, but kind of want nice smooth shifts, and I'm not too keen on having a busted up ring. So I figure if I can get the part, I'll wait. So we're waiting. But got all the seals replaced and all the shafts. Friggin', this thing was coated in clutch and steel material. I mean, it was everywhere. Like, I must have cleaned out probably a pound worth of just steel and clutch shavings, and there's still, you can see, it's just, it was everywhere. It got absolutely everywhere. And that's probably why this thing was starting to have issues, was just, it was just so clogged up. Like, this thing, if I couldn't move these valves, like, who's telling what the hydraulic system was doing when it was trying to shift? But this main valve body was also super jammed up, so I'm glad I actually took the time to remount these bores and get these all nice and smooth so all the valves fall nice and easily. But no, the drum clutches went together pretty good, so I had to make this custom tool. This sat basically, yeah, right there, and it depresses this return spring guide and allowed me to take the pistons out of the drum clutches. So the rebuild kit included a bunch of O-rings and shit for these things. If it'll come out. There it goes. So the rebuild kit included a bunch of O-rings so you can replace these and the one inside. So, you know, this was also super coated in just junk and clutch and steel material. So I'm honestly not, I'm a little surprised this thing was actually able to drive itself in here, to be honest with you. But friggin' Honda reliability, I guess. So literally just waiting on a new one of these so I can put this back together. But here's all the old clutches and steels. You can see this was a third gear clutch and steel set, and it is absolutely just gone. So somebody ran this transmission just about empty and then just said, it, I'm gonna keep running it. And probably when it stopped driving, they just packed it and said whatever. So got some work to do today. Never thought I'd be working on a Honda Ridgeline, but they're not bad trucks.